Morning and welcome to Good Morning Anambra Show. Today is Tuesday, the 29th day of April 2025. We're delighted to be counted amongst the living today. My name is Nonya Nwokoye, welcoming you to the show.
Anambra, good morning to all.
Anambra, good morning to you all.
All right, we'll begin the show with the press review.
Glad to have you start with us. As it's tradition here, when we begin the press review, we want to start with the news making rounds on ABS website. And the first news we have for you on ABS website is Silver Jubilee Celebration. COOU management pays courtesy visit to ABS boss. Moloku seeks collaboration. Anocha Council Chairman Ibekwe enrolls over 1,000 beneficiaries into Anambra State Health Insurance Scheme.
And we have great pillars of Anambra Brothers Club inaugurated in Onitsha. Embarks on specialist hospital project. And also our public-private community partnership, Isini Village, Nando, embarks on road project. And we have Adogo family of Agulezi, friends, others, bid, Adogo family of Agulezi, friends, others bid farewell to matriarch late Hannah Adogo.
All right, NCAA to sanction illegal airstrip operators from January next year. Tinubu congratulates Remo Stars FC for winning 2024-2025 Nigerian Premier Football League season. Vatican 135 cardinals to commence election of new Pope May 7. National holiday, Russia declares 72-hour unilateral ceasefire in Ukraine.
And that's all we have for you on ABS website. Quickly, let's just pick one or two stories there and talk about.
All right. It's a big congratulations to Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University. That's a milestone, and you can imagine the person actually at the helm of affairs visited ABS. That's what's her name again? I'm forgetting her name.
The former commissioner for education, talking about
Kate Omenoga, right?
Yeah.
Kate Omenoga visits, and you can go to Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University today and see great work being done by Kate Omenoga. This transformation alone is something else, and we say a big congratulations to the institution, Anambra-owned institution there.
Yeah, well, Anambra all around, we've seen lots of work going on in the various ministries. You see the Ministry of Works doing a lot of things. You see the Ministry of Education. Of course, education is something Anambra State has really developed over the past, let's say, 15 to 20 years since the inception of Mr. P2B, and we must congratulate ourselves, and we must congratulate those who've been appointed to handle education in Anambra State, especially from the number one person, talking about the governors. They've always been intentional. They've always, made sure that education, the average Anambra person gets, at least a basic education. Of course, at the moment, education is basically free in Anambra State, both from the basic class to SS3 now at the moment.
SS3?
Yeah, so basically, so you do not. So in Anambra State, so long as you're in Anambra State, there's no excuse for you not to go to school. If you feel the private schools are expensive, of course, the government school is there for you, and you get quality education, or at least basic education, the ones that you need to, to hold yourself or something like that.
All right. Before we got on air this morning, Ajolo there's one debate people are having that no
About
black man,
about the Pope.
no black man will ever become
Yeah.
a pope. Now the election is around the corner, and I don't know whether you will start praying in earnest for a black man to emerge as a pope. It's going to make great history in the world today.
Yeah, but then talking about religiosity, let me put it that way. And even though the white man might be the people that brought Christianity to this part of the world, but sincerely speaking, we have overtaken them based on the way to actually do things when it has to do with the morals the Bible preaches about and the rest of it all. The West seems to have lost it, sincerely speaking, morally speaking and otherwise. They seem to have lost it. Maybe in technological advancement, you give it to them. But when it has to do with morals, they have lost it. So whatever the basis is in selecting a new pope, there are certain criteria that should be put into consideration. The West are going against what the Bible stands for. Blessing same-sex marriage, promoting abortion, and the rest of it all. These are things that are happening in the Western countries. And when you have a pope from that region, it makes it seem as if they are okay with going against what the Bible actually stands for. Good enough, Catholic is Christian, is Christendom. So whatever their beliefs, their doctrine is, definitely emanates from the Bible. But you can't have side by side having alien doctrines that goes against the principle of the Bible. That's the reason or the basis on which I feel the black man should be given, well, a consideration in being made a pope. Nothing other than that, the fact that they have deviated from the actual tradition of what the Bible says.
All right, let's wait for the white smoke.
The thing, anyway, there are lots of criteria, for people. It's not about, when it comes to the church, especially the Catholic Church, it's not about it's not about the race, it's not about where the person is from. It's all about the person's capabilities, So, whatever it is, we hope that the next Pope comes with his own great ideology, and trying to unify the church and the world, and because we're in a very complicated. We're finding ourselves in a very complicated time.
World.
So.
All right. Let me just talk about this Adogo family of Agoluzibo. I was at that burial, and the woman was aged 103. I knew her personally, and when you talk about 103, she was so strong till her last breath. Wow. I saw her in church last year, and to crown it all, when we got to that community, you can imagine the kind of encomiums being poured on this woman, how she goes out for evangelism in the community at her age. Wow, and the daughter-in-law was reading a biography or something, and as she was reading, somebody behind me said, "This is the truth of whom this woman actually is. There is no painting about it." And I tap into the longevity grace given to that woman. Not just that she lived long, but she lived strong at 103. You can imagine that. And she's a good Christian, to crown it all. And so I say, in as much as we commiserate with the family of our Adogo, we thank God for the life of their matriarch. All right, let's quickly move to the first paper for review.
All right, for the first paper for review this morning, we have the Daily Sun newspaper. All right, and on the Daily Sun, we have mass defection to APC looms. And a kicker to that, party chieftains see more governors, over 40 opposition National Assembly members set to join the ruling party. And we also have, still on the Daily Sun, we have Naira redesign. Court strikes out 1 billion Naira suit against Buhari and Emefiele. Okay, court strikes out 1 billion Naira suit against Buhari, Emefiele, and the Central Bank of Nigeria. We also have Sanwo-Olu blast Obi over his poverty index rating of the APC government at Johns Hopkins University. Says Anambra had worse poverty under ex-Labour Party presidential candidate when he was governor. And then, still on the Daily Sun, we have Benue CP reads Riot Act as police confirmed
confirmed 4 dead. I didn't see that clearly. And then we have Tinubu describes Oboreveri Okowa Delta PDP defection. Still, that's not clear, but of course these are the major headlines in front of.
Okay, let's quickly take a look at the banner headlines in front of that paper. Mass defection to APC looms. You know, yesterday this defection was you know, all over the paper yesterday, and there are some people that were saying that Tinubu or the APC government is trying to make Nigeria a one-party nation or one-party government that we will be practicing. But they came out to say no, you know, that it's not true, that nobody is trying to make it a one-party system or something like that. But now we are seeing another headline of mass defection to APC.
It's what it's going to be called, you know, people moving to political parties, and we've seen what you know, very recently, Delta State, a party, a state that...
Honestly, the way that happened, I didn't believe that.
I was in Asaba.
Not just the governor.
I was in Asaba during the weekend, and you could see masks, you could see posters of the president, you know, trying to... So, but whatever happens, the most important thing, like, was one of the former presidential candidates to say, it's not about one-party system. It should be about if everybody is going to be part of a certain political party, and you do not have the interest of people, then it doesn't really make sense. So if you like, you run a one-party system and run, so whatever it is, it has been systematic. It has been going on since the new government. So we will not say probably that's the intention of the government. We may not say that, but the body language, people moving to a certain political party, either because there's a skeleton in the cupboard or something is wrong, or we wouldn't know. But this is what we are seeing, and probably Nigerians may be, you know, proved right. Let's see what happens. Hands are Kimbo.
All right. I don't know. You have something to add before we...
Well, it's just a shameful thing to see people vie for political office under one political party, win, and, you know, commence what they actually were, what they campaigned and the manifesto they had to contest those elections. And after a while, we just switch over.
Why not? There was a write-up by Faith Onyemuchi of ABS on Facebook yesterday. I don't know whether you saw that. You know, I read through the submission that it's high time a law will be made for anybody that comes up to leadership position on a particular political party platform, to remain there. If you must defect,
if you must defect,
if you must defect, you relinquish the seat,
abdicate that position, then seek for re-election. Or rather, go through your party, the new party primaries, to see if you will.
Because you can imagine what happened during that election. You know, so many people were running away from APC. Exactly. You know, they voted you under PDP. You came up as a PDP.
Irrespective of even party calling names, you understand?
Yes.
Just maintain the fact that this is the way it should be. And that's why I call this a shameful charade, you understand? Because you don't expect people to... Well, Nigerian party system is no longer... What this trend is portraying, that it's no longer going to be a case of party that we'll be talking about now, irrespective of whatever antecedent you have.
And when we begin to analyze what has happened, you can see that it seems the political elite do not care about the people that vote them into office. And again, they don't care whether you like what they do or they don't. You know,
you matter less to them.
So,
that's what it's
honestly,
what it portrays. But it's so, like I said, it's just so abyssal that we have condescended to this level of politicking.
Quickly, the next paper for review.
And the next paper for review this morning is the Daily Times newspaper, and the banner headline is still talking about you are co-owners of APC, not guests. That is VP Shetima telling Oborevere and Okowa others. And also at the mast, you have Pro-Wike Group demands probe of shooting incident at rally. Suspected Sebex promoter surrenders to EFCC for investigation. And also we have troops arrest 23 suspected oil thieves, recover 180,000 liters of stolen products. Late Osinachi's husband, Nwachukwu, to die by hanging, court orders. CSOs demand justice for 183 killed in Benue Plateau attacks. And that's all we have for you on the front page of the Daily Times this morning.
All right, let's move away from politics a bit because we've talked about it before now. Let's look at this Osinachi's husband, because yesterday the story came up and a lot of people were jubilating. You know, on the other hand, somebody actually said, can we really say that justice has been served, and what actually becomes the fate of the children left behind? And a lot of things. Somebody also commented that this is going to serve as deterrent to others, and so many comments coming up. And this is long awaited. You know, a lot of people have been looking up to see how the end goes.
And all that.
And I don't know.
Decision of the court.
Okay.
You know, the fact is that probably actually should be in the best position to answer it because he's married already, you know. So, but I think, because I think, to the best of my learning, before the court decides to take these certain decisions, they consider a lot of things, and I believe they considered the children too. But the level of the crime, let me use it this way, the act was too much. You abused the woman to the, I was not there, most of us were not there, but subject to reports. You abused this woman to the extent that she died, or you beat her to death, or she died at the cost of whatever relationship you guys had. And now, trying to now say, okay, because of the kids, the sins you committed is gone. It's going to leave, you know, it's going to give room for this development to continue happening. People can always make reference to these cases. After Osinachi's husband killed the mother, and of course we have to always consider the kids. And because if primarily the man was actually, the husband himself was actually considering the kids, he shouldn't have done anything that would have led to the mother's death.
Because there's a saying that the worst thing or the best thing you can do for the kids is to love their mother.
Yeah, so whatever happens, so it's really a very difficult one. It's a painful one for the kids because they're going to grow up.
That's the word.
Yes, because they're going to grow up now without they're going to
parents.
Without parents, and of course we cannot remove the fact that parents, but not just one parent, because sometimes we say father, mother, but both parents in the lives of children are really very. When you see kids that are well trained, where they had a very healthy family, where both the father and the mother were there, they had a very healthy relation, you will know. Because the way they react to certain things, like, oh, as lawyers, this is somebody from a very healthy home or something. So it's very painful, but it's what has happened has happened.
Justice can never be truly served. There is no case of an eye for an eye, an arm for an arm in this issue. And sincerely speaking, it is pathetic, it is very saddening, and most importantly, the trauma of those kids. Having lost a mother through domestic violence, which they witnessed, not once, not twice, based on the court testimonies, you understand, even prior to the conviction. That trauma alone, and now this huge blow of hearing that their dad, obviously they're not going to witness such, that their dad is going to be killed by hanging, will forever traumatize these children. It's like a doomsday killing two birds with one stone. It's just so pathetic. Like I said, the judicial system, Nigerian legal system, sometimes they will act in a way that you give them commendations, and sometimes they act in a way that, was this actually the best that could have come out of this, sincerely speaking. If you think of considering these children, probably, I think, you would have given this young man life sentence. Probably with time, he would come to terms with the reality of what he has done. But ending it abruptly by hanging, I don't know. That's just my opinion anyway.
All right, I would want to talk, you know, as having been in the business for over 25 years, I think I have an experience. There's something I normally tell people, you know, being in an abusive marriage is not the best. And I've had people say, walk away. It's not easy to walk away, especially when children are involved. But my own is that you don't stay in a place and get killed, all in the name of, you know, that you're married. And there's this Igbo saying that kind of, if you're man enough, there are things a woman would do. You just take your shirt and, you know, go to, there's a joint where men can just take a drink and laugh it off. But marriage is a beautiful institution that should be honored by both man and woman. If you are not, if you can't do it, don't go in the first place. Or if you are already in and you're finding it difficult, please look for matured people to help you. You know, maybe talk it through, you know, and if you need to separate for some time, you can do that. Then look at, I've seen people separated and after some time they come back. They come back. Yes, it has happened before. Maybe they now realize that they can't do without each other. They've been so childish about the whole thing. They come back. So whatever happens, you know, dying in marriage is not the best. And this is a very pathetic story. Nobody would want to. And the man may be full of regrets now, you know, if actually he killed the woman with his, you know, his own hands. But whatever happens, we pray that God will take care of the kids.
And we also have to pay attention to training the boy child. You know, sometimes the focus is always on the women. We're trying to always correct women and all that. But the boy child too, we have to also invest in training them, you know, trying to tell them. It's not where we are trying to change men. It's a different thing entirely, where they are encouraging, where all over the social media, we're encouraging men to cry. Or to
I think this can go for a topic. This can go for a topic for another day. But let's quickly move to the Punch newspaper. Let's see stories making their headlines in front of the Punch. NNPCL under fire as $897 million Warri Refinery revamp flops. We have read there, Warri Refinery shutdown drags on since January 25. Port Harcourt Refinery struggles at under 40 production capacity. Now, tension amongst Sunny Ade's children over music legends' whereabouts. Hurricane Tinubu, more governors will join APC. Ganduje boasts. Diaspora voting. INEC pushes for constitutional amendment. Papal elections guided by Holy Spirit, not politics. That's the Archbishop speaking. Massive power outage, ground trains, internet in Spain, Portugal, France. Alleged fraud, court orders businesswoman at Chimugo's appearance. Gender advocates hail death sentence for Latos Inachi's husband. Obedient tackles Sanwo-Olu over attack on Peter Obi. Let's see other papers before we comment. Daily Independent.
All right, on Daily Independent, we have Oboreveri, Delta PDP move to APC political tsunami. This is coming from the mountain. But our defection is a movement, says Governor. Right, still on the Daily Independent, the major headline there. We have NHIS at risk amid rising costs of healthcare and poor regulation. Then we have telecom subscribers grown over poor service despite tariff hike. And then we have the governor has only one vote. Elections are won by people. This is coming from the man El Rufai, and that's on page 29 of the Daily Independent. Still on Daily Independent, we have a Fenifere mixed case for state police enforcement of anti-terrorism law. And we also have INEC, NAS, Black, others strategize on reforms to strengthen elections. And then we have court sentences Osinachi's husband Nwachukwu to death by hanging. NCAA threatens to sanction aerodromes without valid permits. Akpabio pledges legislative backing for police reforms.
Up next is the This Day newspaper for review this morning. And we have at the mast of the This Day newspaper, Fagbemi, why Nigerian judges must be conversant with new electricity law And the writer there says, Kekere Ekun decries debt linked to power sector. Lamidu Odinkalu, Akinola Janodu, others warn against coercive defections. And the writer there says, Lukman, our coalition is to ensure Tinubu does not return. And then the banner headline is talking about the Delta State governor. This is a movement, not defection. Okowa, we move to APC for good of Delta State. Let the people of Delta speak and not you. Tinubu to defectors, you are co-owners of APC, not party guests. With time we shall know. Ganduje, Uzodinma, Otu, Mwoku, Mwoko, Keyamu, others welcome new members.
All right, let's quickly take a look at it, talk about some of the issues. I think this defection, let's look at it. Oboro already says it's a movement, and of course, I like what you said. Let the Deltans, talk. And when did we say they're not guests?
Exactly.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. It's basically everything in life has to do. There's a fraction of time attached to everything that we do, whether for good or for bad. So we can see the tsunami, the wave, the typhoon, everything, defection and everything. But we all know underneath what is quoted. We all know the catalyst why this mass movement is going on. But then, Nigerians are not stupid. Nigerians are not stupid. If we know that our vote counts, now our politicians are making us understand that we are the actual stakeholders. Sincerely speaking, that's what all this shenanigans is all about. Our votes definitely will actually count. If we can do the right thing. Do you know how shameful it is that you know that you contested an exam, you sat for an exam, Ibulu Expo, when people are coming out to brag about academic brilliance, you hide your face in shame. Because you know that you actually did.
For somebody that has shame.
No.
Do you think they have shame?
In their closet, they know that what they are doing is wrong. Irrespective of the bravado camouflage that they put outside. Within them, they know. If a cheat is a cheat. Irrespective of somebody owning it up to you or you telling yourself, before you lie to somebody, you first of all deceive yourself. You conceive it that what you're about to say is a lie. So you've already deceived yourself before you're giving it out to somebody.
Actually, what pains me most is that the people involved are not young people. They are elders. Most of them, our president is within the range of between 80 and 90 years.
You're not sure he's not.
I don't know.
Look at so there are a lot of discrepancies.
I don't know. There are so many elders amongst them, 70, 80, 90, even 60. And you begin to wonder, Nigeria getting better with what we are seeing. The younger generation are watching what is happening. And when they see these things happening, what are they going to do tomorrow when it's their turn? And let's not forget that people are moving in drones, dying every day. The aged people are giving way. Ayo Adebanjo is no more. He died at 90. And so many of them, even Edwin Clark. So many people are moving, and these younger ones are coming up. So when they come up, who knows what is going to happen? And we are clamoring for a better Nigeria.
The thing about Nigerian politics is, recently I'm reading a book written by Obafemi Awolowo, and something you understand from Nigerian politics is whatever is happening now has happened before. We are talking about cross-carpeting. The first time it happened, I think sometime in 1952, the NCNC and the AG, the NCNC winning in Lagos, and later on the AG. So, but these things it's fundamental. It's a fundamental.
There's something you said earlier, that the interest of the masses, whether they have it at heart.
So that's what I'm saying. It has always never been there. It has always been about it. When we critically analyze some of our political heroes, the people refer to as our political heroes, the likes of Nnamdi Azikiwe, Awolowo, even the man Ojukwu. See that some of the decisions they took were more of, will I refer to them as emotional? Will I refer to them as more on it's really difficult for me to say this on personal interest too, because if these decisions were holistically considered, you know, we may not be where we found ourselves at the moment. So, but this is the situation we find ourselves. And you were just talking about them going. When they are going, we have their kids there, their families are there. If you come down to analyze, yes, if you come down, yes, if you come
they
to,
are seeing what is happening. They will do what?
Yes, the Coyotes have been there. The Coyotes have been there. The Fani Coyotes have been there. The Showe Mimos have been there. The Oshun Tokuns have been there. You keep when you look at the history now, you see that these names. The names you used to hear in the 1940s, the 1950s, 60s, 70s, when those like the spearheaders are gone, their children continue, and most of the kids witnessed what their parents did then, and when they come back, like when they've grown up, you see them doing exactly what so much. So it's,
you know, except God raises a man, you know, that can say enough is enough.
At every
we
point,
need a change.
At every point in time, men have always been
because
raised.
even our governor said that you can't continue to do something the same way and expect a different result. So except God raises maybe one of their kids to say enough is enough, we need to change the trajectory. We need to, you know, change the narrative.
Men have always been raised. Men have always been raised, but something the system has always done. I'm sorry to say.
There is always going to be an end to whatever thing that happens.
It's going
good
to
or bad.
It's going
time.
to.
You see, time will definitely be what we tell. You can sit down here and talk about history of Nigeria and everything. At a point, one day, all these things will come to an end.
All right, let's run the nation, Ajolo.
Up next for review this morning is the Nation newspaper, and then the banner headline is still talking about the defection, Oborewere, Okowa to APC, tsunami says Shetima. And then we have 14 governors, can I see that? 14 governors, senators, ministers receive Delta's ex-PDP bigwigs. Why we moved? Well, workers spending 5 months wage award for payment. We have WAEC NECO to adopt full CBT mode next year. Speaker backs bill on party funding. And then we have Lagos police raise strike force to battle criminals. That's all we have for you. And we have gospel singer, we've seen that. Cardinal enter conclave for Pope's election. That will be on May the 7th. 6 songs to defend Nnamdi Kanu in terrorism trial. FIRS asks banks to close authorized tax accounts. Lawyers, litigants deplore attacks on court buildings.
All right, the next one, The Guardian.
The Guardian newspaper. On The Guardian, we have institutional fees. 51 universities, others embroiled in illegal deductions from student loan. Extra charges institutions make on each NEL fund applicant. These are some of the issues, all right? Then we have court orders Aisha Achimogu to honor EFCC's invitation. Customs receives 6 cargo scanners, target 67 in 20 years. And we have alleged $1 billion fraud. Suspected CBEX promoter surrenders to the EFCC. Ohaneze urges Tinubu to accept peace move by pro-Biafra agitators. JAM, P2B, Bike over early exam schedules. And then we have 2027, Annex 6 law to strip president of power to appoint Rex. That's the resident electoral commissioners. All right. El-Rufai Lukman maintain opposition as APC receives Oberveri and Okowa, husband of the lead gospel singer Ostinachi, sentenced to death.
All right, quickly we'll move to Daily Trust newspaper. We can win without governors coming from El-Rufai. NEC, Delta Caretaker Committee top agenda as PDP National Working Committee meets today. Tinubu is isolated. Baba Ahmed. Electricity-related incidents kill 112 in 2024. How local government election exposed rift between Niger government and deputy. Okay, Benue cult violence claims 20 lives in 6 months. Okay, residents flee as Boko Haram intensifies attacks on Adamawa villages. And the last but not the least, the Nigerian Tribune. We cannot face Tinubu in 2027 to work against him. Delta governor speaks, explains why Delta cannot remain in opposition for almost 10 years. Mass defection of Delta PDP to APC, a political tsunami. Tinubu, I'm not bothered by defection of governors to APC. El Rufai speak. And of course, we see other stories. Okay, we've seen that. World Bank water project failed in Nigeria as scarcity lingers. All right, quickly, let's look at that story, Obinna, the issue of what is happening with the loan, students' loan.
It's one of the things, you know, loans in Nigeria are ones that are very, I do not know.
Is it just loans or most policies made in this country?
No, the policy has been made. The plan of the policy.
I know.
Yeah, the plan is behind the policies to actually help people who can't afford tertiary education. And now, according to reports, universities, I do not know the details there, but according to reports, probably the universities are trying to capitalize on this to put some charges into the loans and all of that, trying to, probably on the long run, going to make it really very difficult for those who may have taken the loans to pay back. So, but my thought on this is, we know Nigerians with paying back loans and debts. Are we sure Nigerians, those who have taken
the truth is that why is it that every time in Nigeria, when they create an avenue to help the poor, to help the needy, something must, you know, we must experience one kind of, hardship or the other upon that. Why? Why can't this thing just go, you know, stress-free? Why must there be stress in everything?
It's something strange. I was just talking about history. It has been there, like we find it difficult. I was discussing this with somebody yesterday. I said, an average Nigerian, whether you're in the government, you find your place in the place of power or something, we find it difficult to make things. We want everyone around us to suffer, probably because we've gone through a lot of things.
Okay, look at.
And when you're trying to change it, you're trying to, I did it. It was what happened to me. This was how I got to this.
Look at, we had ATM.
So
we had ATM to make transfers easier for people. Is it easy for you? We had, what is that one again? They said electricity, band A, band B. They removed the old meter, the prepaid meter and whatever. I saw one this thing yesterday, a video made by a man. You know, I think it's a skit anyway, but there's a message that's trying to send across. The man said he asked the wife to manage the light he bought. That he went out and came back, the light has finished. Now said the woman should carry her bag to the father's house so that he got and learn management. The woman now wrote, the woman had to write, divorce letter to the man that is not married again. So the man was now blaming band A for chasing away the wife. So you can imagine, it's a skit actually, but it made a lot of sense. Why is it that everything, you know, done in Nigeria, maybe they have plans to alleviate the plight of the poor masses, to help the poor masses do some things in a stress-free manner, and people will try to, you know, that is when you actually see the stress itself.
It's embedded in our DNA. Corruption. This level of entitlement, you know, we have this aggrandized entitlement feeling that, okay, because it's going to pass through me, you need to grease my palm in order to. As simple as walking to a shopping mall or to a fast food joint place, the security man at the gate, the first thing he was telling
for something.
is anything for the best.
All right, we can go on and on, but our time.
That is as simple as you wanting to go and spend your own money. Somebody that opened the door for you, which is his own job, is asking for you to. So until we change this whole mentality, from the policeman on the street down to even the immigration at the airport, everywhere, every person is entitled to wanting to make money.
We can go on and on, but that's the much time could allow us on press review. This morning, we'd like to thank you so much for being a part of it. We have more stories, but you can now read up, you know, to make up for what you did not hear on this platform. My name is Nonya Nwokoedo. Sit tight. We have more coming up on Good Morning Anambra.
And I'm Ajulochukwu Okabwe.
My name is Obinna. Stay tuned.